Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1983, remains one of the most beloved family dramas in television history, capturing the struggles and triumphs of the Ingalls family on the American frontier. But what happened to the actors who brought these unforgettable characters to life? From Laura and Mary to the unforgettable Olsens, some went on to long Hollywood careers. Others stepped away from the spotlight, and a few have sadly passed on. Join us as we revisit the cast of this timeless classic, then and now, and uncover the remarkable journeys, surprising stories, and lasting legacy of the stars of Little House on the Prairie. Rachel Lindsay Greenbush portrayed Carrie Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie, 1974, beginning when she was just 4 years old. Carrie, the youngest daughter of Charles and Caroline Ingalls, was often seen in heartwarming family moments, adding innocence and charm to the series. Since the role required a young child, Rachel alternated the part with her identical twin, Sydney, though she gradually appeared more often as the show continued. Carrie was not always central to major storylines, but her presence reflected the everyday life and growth of the Ingalls family on the frontier. Off-screen, Rachel Lindsay Greenbush was born on May 25, 1970, in Los Angeles, California. After Little House, she chose a more private life, occasionally taking part in nostalgic reunions and fan events celebrating the series. Unlike many child actors, Rachel stepped away from Hollywood, focusing instead on personal endeavors and family life. As of 2025, she is 55 years old, remembered fondly by audiences for her role as the sweet, quiet little sister who brought warmth to the Ingalls household. Melissa Gilbert portrayed Laura Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie, 1974, when she was only 10 years old. Laura, the spirited second daughter of Charles and Caroline Ingalls, is a central figure in the show, embodying both innocence and resilience as she grows up on the American frontier. Through her eyes, viewers experience the challenges of pioneer life, from family struggles and community bonds to personal growth and love. Gilbert's performance captured Laura's fiery personality and compassionate heart, making her one of television's most beloved young heroines. Off-screen, Melissa Gilbert was born on May 8, 1964 in Los Angeles, California, and was adopted as an infant. Her acting career flourished beyond Little House, including roles in films, TV movies, and later serving as president of the Screen Actors Guild. She also pursued writing, releasing memoirs that candidly discussed her Hollywood childhood and personal challenges. Unlike many child stars, Gilbert successfully transitioned into adult life and continues to be active in the entertainment industry, politics, and charity work. As of 2025, she is 61 years old, admired for her resilience and openness about her journey. Melissa Sue Anderson portrayed Mary Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie, 1974, starting the role at just 12 years old. As the eldest daughter of Charles and Caroline, Mary was the responsible, intelligent, and kind sister, often serving as a model of maturity within the family. Her character went through one of the series' most dramatic arcs when Mary gradually lost her sight, a storyline that showcased both the struggles and resilience of life on the frontier. Anderson's sensitive and emotional performance earned critical acclaim and gave Little House some of its most memorable moments. Off-screen, Melissa Sue Anderson was born on September 26, 1962, in Berkeley, California. She continued acting in television and film after Little House, earning recognition for roles in drama and suspense productions. Later, she moved to Canada and became a citizen, stepping back from Hollywood but occasionally returning for projects and interviews. In her memoir, she reflected on her childhood in the spotlight and the challenges of early fame. As of 2025, she is 63 years old, admired for her powerful portrayal of Mary Ingalls and her enduring place in TV history. Michael Landon portrayed Charles Ingalls, the devoted father of the Ingalls family, in Little House on the Prairie, 1974. At 38 years old when the series began, Landon infused Charles with warmth, strength, and deep moral conviction. As a farmer and patriarch, Charles embodied the frontier spirit, hardworking, compassionate, and always striving to do right by his family and community. His relationship with his children, especially Laura, became the emotional cornerstone of the show. Beyond acting, Landon also wrote, directed, and produced episodes, shaping the series into one of the most enduring family dramas in television history. Born on October 31, 1936, in Forest Hills, New York, Landon had already achieved fame from Bonanza before creating Little House. His later projects included Highway to Heaven, further cementing his legacy as a family television icon. Tragically, his life was cut short when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in April 1991. He passed away on July 1, 1991, at the age of 54. Kathryn McGregor portrayed Harriet Olsen in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1983, joining the cast in 1974 at 49 years old. Harriet was the sharp-tongued, pretentious, and often comically cruel owner of Olsen's Mercantile, constantly clashing with the Ingalls family and others in Walnut Grove. While her snobbishness made her one of television's most despised characters, Kathryn's comedic talent ensured Harriet was also one of the most entertaining. Behind the vanity and scheming, Harriet embodied a kind of frontier social climber, desperately trying to rise above her humble surroundings. Born on January 12, 1925, Kathryn McGregor studied acting in New York before moving to California, working steadily in theater and small TV roles. Little House gave her the defining role of her career, and she embraced it fully. After the series ended, she stepped back from Hollywood, devoting her later years to teaching acting and practicing Hindu spirituality. She never married, dedicating much of her life to personal growth and service. McGregor passed away on November 13, 2018, at 93 years old from natural causes. Today, she remains remembered as one of television's most iconic antagonists, a woman audiences love to hate but could never forget. Karen Grassel brought to life Caroline Ingalls, the gentle yet strong matriarch of the Ingalls family in Little House on the Prairie, 1974. She was 32 years old when the show began. As Ma, Caroline embodied quiet resilience and deep nurturing, balancing the hardships of frontier life with tenderness and wisdom. Her character was a steadying force in the Ingalls household, offering comfort, discipline, and unconditional love. Grassel's graceful portrayal gave audiences a vivid sense of a pioneer mother's strength and sacrifice. Off-screen, Karen Grassel was born on February 25, 1942 in Berkeley, California. Trained in theater, she honed her craft on stage before being cast in Little House, which became her most iconic role. After leaving the series, she continued to work in television, film, and especially theater, remaining devoted to her first love, the stage. Grassel also co-founded a theater company and has spoken openly about her struggles and triumphs in Hollywood, including her advocacy for women's rights and fair pay. As of 2025, she is 83 years old, remembered fondly by fans for her warmth, intelligence, and the timeless strength she gave to Caroline Ingalls. Richard Bull portrayed Nels Olsen in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1983, beginning the role in 1974 at 50 years old. Nels was the gentle, sensible counterpart to his overbearing wife, Harriet, a man who bore her schemes with patience and quiet dignity. As the owner of Olsen's Mercantile, he was often caught in the middle of town disputes, but his kindness and integrity made him a stabilizing force in Walnut Grove. Viewers sympathized with Nels as a man trapped in a difficult marriage, yet his humor and resilience gave the character depth beyond comic relief. Born on June 26, 1924, Richard Bull built a long career as a character actor, appearing in films like High Plains Drifter, 1973, and shows such as Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Off-screen, he was admired for his warm personality and professionalism, a stark contrast to the frustrations of Nels. After Little House, Bull continued to work steadily, often appearing in guest roles on TV. He lived in California with his wife Barbara Collentine until his final years. On February 3, 2014, Bull died at 89 years old from pneumonia. His role as Nels Olsen endures as a portrait of kindness, humor, and humanity in frontier storytelling. Allison Arngrim portrayed Nellie Olsen in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1981, starting in 1974 at just 12 years old. Nellie was spoiled, manipulative, and often cruel, serving as Laura Ingalls' rival both in school and in love. With her golden curls and sharp tongue, Nellie became one of television's most notorious mean girls. But her over-the-top antics also provided much of the show's comedic energy. Alison Arngrim's fearless performance gave Nellie a delicious villainy that audiences loved to hate. Born on January 18, 1962, Arngrim grew up in Hollywood and, after Little House, embraced her fame by later turning to comedy, stage work, and writing. She became an outspoken activist, using her platform to advocate for AIDS awareness and child abuse prevention, inspired by her own difficult childhood. Far from her villainous alter ego, Alison has proven warm, witty, and compassionate in real life. As of 2025, she is 63 years old, still active in entertainment and fan events, and forever remembered as the unforgettable Nellie Oleson. Jonathan Gilbert portrayed Willie Oleson in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1983, taking the role in 1974 at just 7 years old. Willie began as a bratty, mischievous child, echoing the spoiled nature of his sister Nellie, but over time he grew into a more rounded character who surprised audiences with moments of loyalty and growth. His schoolyard pranks and childish stubbornness provided comic relief, yet his gradual maturity reflected the universal journey from childhood into adulthood. Born on April 28, 1967, Jonathan was part of the show's extended family dynamic. His adopted sister, Melissa Gilbert, famously played Laura Ingalls. Unlike many child actors, Jonathan's life after the series took a completely different path. He stepped away from acting and pursued higher education, later building a private career in finance and writing, far removed from Hollywood's spotlight. Rarely granting interviews or attending reunions, he has remained something of a mystery to fans. As of 2025, he is 58 years old, remembered primarily as the mischievous Willie Oleson, who grew up before the audience's eyes. Though he left acting behind, his contribution to Little House on the Prairie ensures his place in television history. Matthew Labiorteaux portrayed Albert Quinn Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie, 1976 to 1983, joining the cast in 1976 at 9 years old. Albert was the adopted son of Charles and Caroline Ingalls, a boy with a troubled past who found love and belonging in the Ingalls family. His storylines often explored darker themes, including addiction, illness, and the struggles of growing up. Making him one of the most complex characters in the series, Labiorteaux's emotional performances won viewers' hearts, particularly in Albert's heartbreaking later storylines. Born on December 8, 1966, Matthew overcame challenges in early childhood, including autism, before flourishing as a child actor. Beyond Little House, he appeared in films like Deadly Friend and built a successful career as a voice actor in animation and video games, including the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. Off-screen, he co-founded a charity to help children in need, showing his compassion extended beyond acting. As of 2025, he is 58 years old, admired for his talent and remembered most as Albert Ingalls, the boy whose difficult journey brought depth and poignancy to the Ingalls family saga. Kevin Hagen portrayed Dr. Hiram Baker in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1983, joining the series in 1974 at 46 years old. Dr. Baker was Walnut Grove's kindly physician, a gentle, patient, and deeply compassionate man who treated townsfolk through illness, accidents, and hardship on the frontier. His character brought reassurance to families who often faced life and death struggles, and his wisdom became a pillar of the community. Born on April 3, 1928 in Chicago, Kevin Hagen originally pursued law before turning to acting, where he became a respected character actor in television westerns such as Bonanza and Gunsmoke. Little House gave him his most famous role, which he cherished for its moral weight and positive impact. Off-screen, Hagen was known for his humor and kindness, much like his on-screen persona. After battling esophageal cancer, he passed away on July 9, 2005, at 77 years old. His legacy lives on in the heart of fans who remember him as the compassionate doctor who cared for Walnut Grove. Patrick Labyorteaux portrayed Andrew Andy Garvey in Little House on the Prairie, 1977 to 1981. Joining the show in 1977 at 12 years old, Andy was the curious and good-natured son of Jonathan and Alice Garvey, becoming a close friend to the Ingalls children. His character often brought humor and warmth, showing the bonds of friendship that made frontier life more bearable. Patrick's performance gave Andy a boyish charm and relatability, as he experienced both playful adventures and emotional growth throughout the series. Born on July 22, 1965, Patrick Labyorteaux began acting as a child, and later went on to a successful career in both television and voice work. He became well known for his role as Bud Roberts in the long-running series JAG and its spin-off NCIS. Off-screen, Patrick and his brother Matthew Labyorteaux, Albert Ingalls, have often been admired as child stars who transitioned successfully into adult careers. As of 2025, Patrick is 60 years old, still active in entertainment and remembered warmly as Andy Garvey, the loyal friend of Walnut Grove. Dabbs Greer portrayed Reverend Robert Alden in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1983, joining the cast in 1974 at 57 years old. Reverend Alden was the town's pastor, a symbol of faith and stability in Walnut Grove. Unlike the stern clergyman often seen in period dramas, Alden was approachable, kind, and deeply compassionate, guiding his congregation through grief, joy, and moral dilemmas. His presence in weddings, funerals, and Sunday services became the spiritual thread of the community, offering both comfort and gentle wisdom. Born on April 2, 1917 in Missouri, Dabbs Greer became one of Hollywood's most reliable character actors, with appearances in The Twilight Zone, Perry Mason, and later as the elderly Paul Edgecombe in The Green Mile, 1999. With a career spanning over 60 years, he had more than 300 roles in film and television, beloved for his everyman presence. Off-screen, he was known as a modest, kind-hearted man, much like Reverend Alden. Greer passed away on April 28, 2007, at 90 years old, from kidney and heart disease. His portrayal of Reverend Alden endures as a gentle reminder of faith's role in frontier life. Charlotte Stewart portrayed Eva Beadle in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1978, beginning the role in 1974 at 33 years old. As Walnut Grove's beloved schoolteacher, Miss Beadle represented patience, kindness, and dedication to her students. She was a steady presence in the children's lives, guiding Laura, Mary, Nellie, and others through their early education with both warmth and authority. Her character embodied the importance of teachers on the frontier, often serving as a surrogate parent to children who faced poverty or hardship. Born on February 27, 1941 in California, Charlotte Stewart had a long career in television and film, with roles in Twin Peaks and several other projects. Away from acting, she survived personal struggles, including breast cancer, and later became an advocate for awareness and resilience. She has also been a frequent presence at Little House fan events, sharing her memories of the show. As of 2025, she is 84 years old, remembered fondly as Miss Beadle, the kind-hearted teacher who shaped the children of Walnut Grove. Carl Swenson portrayed Lars Hansen in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1978, starting the role in 1974 at 66 years old. Lars Hansen, the kindly Swedish immigrant and town founder, symbolized the pioneering spirit of Walnut Grove. His character was respected for wisdom, generosity, and leadership, often acting as a father figure to the community. Hansen's declining health and eventual blindness were depicted with dignity on screen, creating some of the show's most moving moments. Born on July 23, 1908 in Brooklyn, New York, Carl Swenson had a long career in radio, film, and television. He voiced Merlin in Disney's The Sword in the Stone, 1963, and appeared in numerous TV shows, building a reputation as a versatile character actor. Tragically, Swenson died on October 8, 1978, at 70 years old, from a sudden heart attack, shortly after filming his final Little House appearance. His death lent additional poignancy to the passing of Lars Hansen in the series, forever linking actor and character in the memory of fans. Dean Butler portrayed Almanzo James Wilder in Little House on the Prairie, 1979 to 1983, taking on the role in 1979 at 23 years old. Almanzo, affectionately nicknamed Manly by Laura Ingalls, became the great love of Laura's life, and eventually her husband, making their courtship one of the most memorable storylines of the series. His hardworking, dependable, and good-natured character embodied the virtues of pioneer manhood. Audiences were charmed by his chemistry with Melissa Gilbert, which brought to life the true historical romance of Laura Ingalls Wilder and her husband. Born on May 20th, 1956, Dean Butler grew up in Canada and quickly transitioned into television acting. After Little House, he appeared in Forever and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and later turned to theater and production. Butler became a respected documentary filmmaker, producing works about the real Wilder family legacy. He has also written and spoken about his experiences on the show, warmly engaging with the fan community. As of 2025, Butler is 69 years old, still fondly remembered as the man who brought Almanzo Wilder to life, immortalizing Laura's frontier love story on screen. Bonnie Bartlett portrayed Grace Snyder Edwards in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1979. Stepping into the role in 1974 at 45 years old, Grace was introduced as the kind, nurturing schoolteacher who eventually became the wife of Isaiah Edwards, balancing his rough mountain man persona with quiet strength and warmth. Her presence provided a steady maternal influence, often embodying the resilience of pioneer women who kept households together under the harsh realities of frontier life. Born on June 20th, 1929 in Wisconsin, Bonnie Bartlett studied acting at Northwestern University, where she met her future husband, William Daniels. The two married in 1951 and built one of Hollywood's longest-lasting partnerships, both on and off screen. Bartlett's career flourished beyond Little House, with memorable turns in St. Elsewhere, for which she won 2 Emmy Awards in 1986, and later in Boy Meets World, where she again acted opposite Daniels. Off-screen, she faced personal struggles, including the loss of a child, but persevered with resilience and faith. As of 2025, Bonnie Bartlett is 96 years old, still admired for her longevity, talent, and enduring presence as Grace Edwards, a character who reflected both tenderness and strength. John Zaremba portrayed Judge Adams in Little House on the Prairie, 1979 to 1981. Entering the series in 1979 at 71 years old, Judge Adams was a figure of dignity and fairness, embodying the rule of law in a frontier society where disputes often threatened to spiral into chaos. His presence added gravity to courtroom scenes and underscored the struggle to bring justice and order to a developing community. Born on October 22, 1908 in Chicago, John Zaremba came to acting later than many, but built a strong career as a character actor known for authority figures such as judges, doctors, and military men. He appeared in science fiction classics like Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, 1956, and 20 Million Miles to Earth, 1957, as well as countless television guest roles throughout the 1960s and 1970s. His dignified presence made him a natural fit for Little House. Zaremba passed away on December 15, 1986 at 78 years old, leaving behind decades of reliable performances. Though his time on the show was relatively brief, his portrayal of Judge Adams gave Little House a sense of authenticity in its exploration of frontier law and justice. Queenie Smith portrayed Mrs. Amanda May Whipple in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1978, joining the show in 1974 at 76 years old. Mrs. Whipple was Walnut Grove's kindly seamstress, a neighbor who represented the heart of small-town community life. She provided a steady helping hand, often sewing clothes, offering advice, and sharing kindness with the Ingalls family and townsfolk. Though a supporting character, her role was symbolic of the women who held communities together through quiet service. Born on September 8, 1898 in Texas, Queenie Smith had a remarkable career spanning 6 decades. She began as a dancer and singer on Broadway in the 1920s, gaining recognition in musical theater before moving into Hollywood films. She appeared in notable pictures such as Showboat, 1936, and continued working in film and television into her later years, carving out a reputation as a reliable supporting actress. Smith's transition from stage to screen reflected her adaptability and talent. She died on August 5, 1978 at 79 years old, shortly after her final Little House appearance. Remembered fondly as Mrs. Whipple, she brought authenticity and warmth to the show's vision of frontier life. Victor French portrayed Isaiah Edwards in Little House on the Prairie, 1974 to 1983, first appearing in 1974 at 39 years old. Known simply as Mr. Edwards, he was a rugged mountain man with a rough exterior, a booming laugh, and a soft heart. His colorful storytelling, loyal friendship with Charles Ingalls, and role as a surrogate father to many children made him one of the most beloved characters in the series. Edwards embodied the hardships and humanity of pioneer life, often battling personal demons like alcoholism, yet always remaining steadfast to those he loved. Born on December 4, 1934 in California, Victor French followed his father, a stuntman, into the entertainment industry. He built his career as a dependable actor in westerns, often cast as villains before Michael Landon recognized his talent for depth and comedy. Beyond Little House, he starred alongside Landon again in Highway to Heaven, cementing their friendship on and off screen. Tragically, French's life was cut short when he died of lung cancer on June 15, 1989, at just 54 years old. His early passing left a void in Hollywood, but his legacy as the tender-hearted Isaiah Edwards endures in television history. Eddie Quillen made a guest appearance as Buffalo Bill in A Little House on the Prairie, 1977, at 70 years old. His portrayal of the legendary showman brought a sense of real American frontier history into the fictional world of Walnut Grove, reminding viewers of the larger-than-life figures who shaped the mythos of the Old West. Born on March 31, 1907 in Philadelphia, Eddie Quillen began his career as a child vaudeville performer before transitioning to Hollywood in the late 1920s. He became a major star of early sound films, often playing energetic, comedic, or musical roles in productions like Show Folks, 1928, and The Big Show, 1936. His career adapted seamlessly as the industry evolved, allowing him to work steadily for decades, appearing in westerns, comedies, and later television shows including Perry Mason, The Andy Griffith Show, and Columbo. By the 1970s, he was a respected veteran actor, known for his professionalism and versatility. Eddie Quillen passed away on July 19, 1990, at 83 years old from cancer, leaving behind a legacy that stretched from vaudeville stages to primetime television. His brief appearance on Little House was one of his final nostalgic nods to the frontier spirit. Who is your favorite character from Little House on the Prairie? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.